if all my friends over at the Stellantis group could just do me a favour for a second and just cover your ears for the first kind of minute or so. But for a while, when it come to the Stellantis group, there was a lot of copy and pasting going on. Cars from Vauxhall, Citroën, Peugeot, Jeep, Fiat, they all felt like complete copy and paste of each other, especially when it came to the electric models. I started to really worry whether Stellantis were able to produce any personality or differentiation between their brands. And then when it came to electrifying the Alfa Romeo range, that's when I really started to worry. How are they going to copy and paste with a brand which has so much heritage when it comes to performance? Introducing the Alfa Romeo Junior. This is the car that's about to prove me wrong. This is a car which takes a very solid base from Stellantis and shares a lot with things like the Peugeot E2008 and also the Vauxhall Mocha, but it works upon it to build an EV which actually has some Alfa Romeo personality. But have they achieved it? Well, hopefully that's what we're going to find out in today's video by driving it both on road and also on track. Hi guys, my name's Tish and welcome back to my channel Auto Social UK. In today's video, I am in the UK and I'm testing out the Alfa Romeo Junior to find out if it really has what it takes to be a worthwhile EV for you to spend your hard-earned money on. So if you want to find out everything there is to know about the latest Alfa Romeo Junior, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Well, I suppose we better get the most important stuff out the way, and that's the driving. It actually seems crazy that in 2022, Alfa Romeo had no fully electric cars, but they plan to be a fully electrified brand by 2026, which seems like it's just around the corner. All versions of the Electric Junior come fitted with a 50.8 kilowatt hour battery, which it shares with a lot of models from Stellantis, things like the Avenger Electric, the Mocha Electric, the Peugeot E2008. But what's more interesting when it comes to the Junior is that they've actually fitted the top spec model with a more powerful electric motor, something that previously I didn't actually think Stellantis were ever going to be capable of doing, because they've not exhibited any higher performance cars just yet, although of course we do have the 600e Abarth coming. For those who are thinking about opting for the less powerful versions, you've got the entry-level specs and this one, which is the mid-spec. This is the Speciale. So you have a core and then this one, which is the Speciale. You've got the core and you've also got the Speciale, which is the one that I'm driving on road today. I've been really struggling with that word, hence grimacing as I said it. And this comes with a very familiar Stellantis setup. So it's a 154 brake horsepower electric motor, and then you also get 250 miles of range and 0 to 62 time of 9 seconds. And actually I found that other cars from Stellantis nowadays are really good. They get a heat pump as standard and I found them to be pretty efficient. And driving that model here on road is pretty good actually. I really like the fact that they've got more sound inside the cabin of this car. So as you put your foot down, you get a build-up of sound, and this gives you a much more engaging feel than comparing it to some of its other stable mates across the other brands from cars like Vauxhall and Jeep. It just feels a little bit more engaging to drive. But other than that, it's just your average EV. If you've driven any of the cars that I've mentioned, if you've driven the Fiat 600, then you will know exactly how this car drives. There's nothing really which stands it out, I would say. And it's a good EV. I've liked pretty much all of those Stellantis cars. And if you don't need to go too far, because the 250 range is all right nowadays, but there are cars out there which will go further, is pretty good as a car to get you from A to B. They all have their own little personality traits when it comes to their styling. However, the standout model, and the one that I'll be driving on track, is the range-topping 280 Veloce. The Veloce features a more powerful 278 brake horsepower motor and a sports enhanced performance features. It sits 25mm lower than its counterparts, and it's equipped with bespoke dampeners and stiffer roll bars, resulting in a more direct steering rack. This setup translates to heightened agility and precision on the road. And to bring this higher performance Veloce to a halt, it features 380mm ventilated front discs. These large brakes work alongside bespoke Michelin Pilot Sport tyres, providing excellent grip. When you push the Junior through corners, it rewards you with a fun and engaging driving experience. And whilst it may oversteer if you are a bit too aggressive mid-corner, you quickly learn to adapt to its inputs and make the most of its capabilities. The Veloce model also gets upgraded suspension components to keep body roll in check, while still allowing you to feel its weight transfer around the chassis in tight corners. This feedback enhances the sense of involvement when it comes to this EV, especially on twisty B roads and of course around the track. The mechanical limited slip differential and the precise steering give you the confidence to tackle corners at impressive speeds. Yes, it can get a little bit scrabbly with too much power going to the front axle, but the traction control system is quick to manage any slippage, keeping you on track. Quite literally, thank God. If you're currently feeling a bit confused by the weather, well, then you and me both. That's not a fake background, it's just glorious sunshine over there and everything this side of the camera is all horrible and grey and raining. But we're going to move past it and we're going to talk about space, and specifically boot space. So inside of the boot of the Junior, you get a really decent amount of 400 litres. That's more than enough for the weekly shop or a weekend away. Sure, it's not huge amounts, but this is a small electric SUV after all. You do get some 12-volt charging inside of this boot. You've got a couple of handy hooks, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward in here. You've also got an adjustable boot floor, so the load area is nice and flat, or you can drop it down for some extra storage. At the moment, I've got the cables within the extra storage, but if you wanted to store your cables somewhere else, it might not have a front frunk, but you can actually option this to have an accessory, which means you get a storage box which sits underneath the bonnet where you can pop away your charging cables, which I think is actually a very clever solution.
Quite a lot of the footage that we've seen online so far has all been showcasing the highest spec Veloce, the model that I drove on track. This model is recognisable by its impressive bucketed sports seats, suede trim steering wheel and suede centre console. But in reality, the really sporty touches are reserved for the highest and most expensive model. Lower specification models, including the entry-level Electrica, include Icona interior, and that's a mix of leather effect and dark blue trim. Upgrading to the premium pack for £2,000 gets you the upgraded red trim seats which are found in the car that I've been driving today, which feature slightly sportier embossed seats with red running down the centre. The blue leather effect within the cabin has also been switched for black. It also includes 6-way electrically adjusted seats with lumbar support and heating. However, if you did want the sporty set of bucket seats in the lower specification trims, you can add those with a sport pack for just over £4,000. Overall, the pricing for the Junior starts from just over £33,500 for the Electrica model. However, to truly get a car which feels much more than just a rebadged Peugeot, it's the pricier Veloce that you'll be looking for, which is over £40,000. For £7,000 more, you do get a car with a hell of a lot more upgrades, however, and many of the interior options, which you'll pay up to £4,000 for on the lower spec cars, come as standard, so it somewhat makes a bit more sense.
When it comes to electric cars, we seem to look at them a lot differently compared to what we did with petrol and diesel models. We let ourselves get really bogged down in the figures. If it doesn't have 300 miles, it's not even worth considering. But how many people are doing 300 miles of driving in a day? Well, Not very many. In fact, if you look at the UK average, it's far closer to being under 30 miles a day. And in that instance, you can get to and from work in a car like this very, very easily. Once we look past some of the figures not being that comparative to other cars on the markets, it opens up your eyes to just choosing which car takes your fancy. And that's something we used to do. We used to pick brands because we liked what they looked like and we liked their interiors. We weren't too worried about mile per gallon and all these things we have to worry about when it comes to EVs. If it works for you, it works for you. And when it comes to the Alfa Romeo Junior, seemingly they have a little something for everyone. Sure, they're not going to be able to cater for those of us that are doing long mileage every single day. But for those people who want a comfortable and fun and good looking EV, I think it's a great option going for the entry level trims. But if you want something with a bit more of a performance kick and some of the kit to actually back up those performance figures, then I think the higher spec models of this Alfa Romeo Junior are a really enticing and exciting offering. And they really do perform well both on road and out on the track. But let me know, what do you think of the Alfa Romeo Junior? Is this the performance EV that you'd opt for, or is there something else which takes your fancy? Let me know in the comments down below. I really hope you have enjoyed this video today, guys. If you have, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Until next time, see you later.